When it comes to bonsai, I love silver birch. Today I'm going to be pruning and working on these 10. I've not shown you my big one in this video today. That sounds bad. Last winter, sort of December, January time, I wired all these trees up, so I've just spent a couple of hours removing all the wire, ready for me to do some pruning. I must admit, this is one of my favourites. It's by no means the thickest, but it's got that wonderful white bark. And today, I just sort of need to get this in check by just cutting these main sort of branches down and just getting it all back in control, really. Everything's just too long. It's growing really healthily. I didn't do much pruning on it last year because they were collected, I think I collected them last March. Last year they were basically just left to grow. So this year now, they're at the stage where they definitely need just checking back. And it's quite basic stuff, this, to be honest. It's not too technical. Just trimming these shoots back, trying to get it to go a bit bushier, really, and to develop ramification. With a tree like this, I don't necessarily have to put my efforts into thickening the trunk or anything. I quite like this slender, thin trunk. This is the look of a kind of a real silver birch in nature. You know, they don't grow into these huge, thick, gnarly things in the way oaks do. A lot of them, they do just stay quite slender and lean like this. So, dependent upon the individual tree, I'll style them in different ways. But this one I definitely see as that kind of slimmer, slender, elegant style. And I love this kind of work. This is sort of the classic bonsai work, what people think of when they're sort of thinking of bonsai. Sort of imagine someone up with a turntable spinning branches around and just pruning away. And I kind of like that there. I'm not sure exactly where the front is on this tree. It's probably something like that, I think, with the nice slope here, these branches. And I kind of think that's this tree done, really. That's pointing downwards, I don't need that one. And I don't want to stifle this tree too much because it was only collected just over a year ago. So I still want to leave lots of vigour and health in it. There we go. Tree number 1. This is tree number 2. And down at the base here, we've got some suckers that I want rid of because there's just no need for those. They're not adding anything to the tree. I've got a small stump that can go there. And again, this is just a question of trimming it back, still leaving enough health and vigour into the tree so that it has a strong year, but just getting it under control. These trees will be rewired again, I suspect. I'll probably rewire these again next winter if they need it. It's one of my favourite bonsai jobs. Come the sort of November time, getting the kettle on in the house, making a brew and doing some bonsai work in my front room. You can join me while I do some of that this winter. If you want, you know, if that's your thing. I love doing it. I think that's about done with that tree there. There's not much to it. There's a branch here that needs some probably bending down at some point. But we'll just see, maybe even remove that. But for the time being, that's okay. I've angled the camera down here so that you can see this trunk. It's got a nice thick chunky base and then it splits off into two. It has got a dead branch here and that's been dead. Well, it just never came alive, so I'll get rid of that. It is dead. I can cut that right down. Birch are known for having branches just suddenly die, and there's another one here on the top actually. Although that is the case, as in this tree, I've not found it to be too big a deal. You know, a lot of them haven't got any branches die, well, any branches that are dead. So I don't know. It's kind of, I suppose, some trees will naturally be more vigorous than others. Perhaps I planted some a bit better, you know, did a better job with the roots, collected more roots and things. Now this isn't as vigorous as the other trees, there's no doubt. You know, there's not as much new growth, so there's not as much to take off. Consequently, I'll do a little bit of pruning, but nothing daft. I'm just kind of working my way around again. Oh, there's another dead branch here. So I do suspect this one was a bit weaker for whatever reason. But still, it's got some nice shape to it. I think so anyway. It's quite interesting. It'll be interesting to see how many people stick around for this full video, because I think it's going to be a lot longer than my standard videos. I try and keep my content quite snappy and short, because personally I have a bit of a low attention span sometimes. But today I thought, what the hell? I'm just going to spend some time pruning my trees. If people watch, they watch, and if they don't, c'est la vie. It's another one done. Oh, we've got another branch down there. That's got to go. You've just heard the train go past. I live fairly close to that train line, really. I normally edit them out in my videos, but like I say, I can't be bothered on this video. I'm just leaving it all in. Excellent. I had to leave this wire on. Well, I did first remove it, and after I removed it, this branch sprung back quite a lot. So I reapplied the wire and bent it back out, because I do want that sort of split in there. When I rewire this, I'll do something with this central branch. But it's a bit of a weird tree, this one. I'm not exactly sure sort of how this will go on to develop as a bonsai, because it's got that really weird skinny branch there to one side, just don't know. A lot of this kind of stuff is experimentation for me. And it's kind of, that's as I've said before in many of my videos, that's part of the fun. Well, that's kind of all the fun, really, is enjoying learning about bonsai on the job. And I still watch lots of other YouTubers to pick up information, to see what I should be doing at what time of year, you know. Yeah, I quite like that. What do you think? Bit of potential to that or not? There is a dead branch again on this, which needs to come off. I spotted it, but I've lost it. Where is it? There's one in here. I'm sure there was another, but I can't seem to find it. So I'll cut it off next time. This one's got some nice movement in it. I put that movement in it with wire, and I think that it adds some interest anyway. It's got a nice thick chunky base again, and this one's really healthy. Look at this, the extension on this. That needs taking back. That it's becoming far too long, so I'll take that right back. A bit like when you're pruning maples, I always leave a stump to allow for dieback, because they do die back, birch, in the same way. And then you just go back in and clean up those cuts the following season. I learnt that off Blue Sky Bonsai. I love his content, absolutely love it. So informative, so much information, and presented in a really nice way. If you don't follow him, you should. You probably do though, he's got loads of followers. In fact, yeah, forget about Blue Sky Bonsai, watch me instead. No, he seems like a really nice guy. Like all the bonsai community does really though. I've not come across anyone yet who's not seemed pretty sound. I'm not a fan of the news, me. You know, people watch the news and they hear all the horror stories of the news and all that stuff. I don't watch it because I tend to go off my experience. My experience of people is they're all right, most people. That's the, maybe it's just my perception, but people I meet all seem to be pretty decent. What a weird tree. What a weird tree. You know, will this ever be worth doing anything with long term? Oh, I don't know. It's just so... There is part of me says maybe I could lop all this top section off and just keep it as a little tiny sort of miniature bonsai, the Mame or Shohin. Maybe that's an option actually, but for the time being I'm happy to leave it to grow. It can just be weird, a weird tree, that's fine. I'll just cut this branch off first so the dog can see the rabbit, as they say. I really like this trunk. It's a lot whiter on this side, but on here it's got that kind of shiny bronze patina to it. Is patina the right word in relation to a bonsai? Can you say a tree's got patina? I don't know. Maybe I've just invented that. It's got some good growth on it, really healthy growth this. Definitely needs nipping back. See, look at the length of that. I wired this. Well, I'll just cut those ones at the bottom off first because they're in the way. Yeah, I don't want these. I've got a branch here. Oh look, there's a piece of wire there that I've missed and it's cutting in really badly. I will just take that off now because I don't want to forget that. One of the things I've been learning on my bonsai journey is that thin wire really cuts in a lot more than thick wire. It really puts me off from using the thin stuff. Yeah, back to this branch here anyway. I put some bend in this with wire to get some movement and it's really shot up, so I need to really control that. I'll cut that back to there. Likewise, these long shoots coming out here, they need controlling those. And this top one definitely has got to go. So yeah, it was a really healthy tree, this one. Growing on nicely. I'll enjoy having a look at that in the winter and seeing what I can do with it in terms of the sort of development of it as a bonsai. This is the front, surely. And I like this branch out here. Yeah, not bad that. Quite like it. This one's got some real potential. Unfortunately, this branch has died, but to be fair, it was a bit of a bar branch. So, I'm not that bothered. I see this as the front. And I've wired some shape into this to get that kind of movement in the trunk. Perhaps I'll bring these round here in the winter. I don't know. I quite like this one. It's got some nice whiteness to the bark. Hopefully over the years that'll improve. I'll get that real proper kind of white colour. I'll tell you what I'd be interested to hear in the comments. What's your favourite tree? But I'm not talking bonsai tree. By all means tell me what your favourite bonsai tree is. But what's your favourite tree just when you're out in the wild looking at trees in nature? What's your favourite tree? Because I think mine is the silver birch. I would have to say the silver birch. I mean, I do a lot of photography and I've taken some really nice images of silver birch. I just love the way they almost sort of weep. And they've got a sort of fragility and a delicate nature, much like myself. Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's hard to explain why you prefer one tree to another, but this one's one of my favourites. There's something about it which I like. And that'll do for that one. Now this tree is a challenge. This whole branch, it's the only one of the birch where a large full limb has died off. It's definitely gone. Brown inside, long dead. There's a little sucker coming from underneath that I don't want. And I'm not sure what to do with this. Whether to just leave it as a dead stump, let nature, you know, maybe turn it into a gin, like a deadwood feature, I don't know. That might look weird on a birch, but I was watching the Bonsai Mirai video last night where Ryan Neal was interviewing that Dan something, and he was talking about deadwood features on deciduous trees, and I agree with him. Why not? Why shouldn't you have deadwood features? I'll just let that train pass. if you're still with me at this stage of the video, I'm guessing a train's not going to stop you watching. Yeah, so what he was talking about in the interview, back to this, is why shouldn't you have deadwood features on a deciduous tree? You know, why should it only be on a conifer? Because you only have to go out in nature and look around, and deciduous trees are full of deadwood, especially certain trees like oak. You know, so why should you follow some predetermined rule that says you don't do that? So yeah, that might be something worth exploring with this tree. Yeah, another weird one, if I'm honest, but I'll let that grow and develop and see how it is next year. Another very odd tree. I think I cut the main trunk off here to turn this into a kind of twin trunk, and I've wired it and stuff, and it's too thin really, but I want this to thicken. So this is the exception to the other trees, in that I'm going to trim these lower branches because these are going to make it into sort of the final design, hopefully. So I'll take these ones back, but I probably see possibly this as the new leader, or maybe this one. Anything above there I don't think is going to be in the design, so I'll just leave it to grow, kind of as a, that's all sacrificial, just to thicken up this main trunk. So I'll control the growth on the lower branches, so that they don't get too thick, you know, because I want everything in proportion to the trunk, and with it being a fairly skinny trunk, I don't want these big super thick branches, because that goes against the style of the silver birch. And that's all I'll do to this tree then. Just deal with the bottom stuff and let that go rampant at the top. What's this one here? This might make it in. Will that make it into the design? Yeah, possibly. So let's just peg that back. Excellent. Last but not least, this little weird tree. I don't know what it is about this little one, but I really like it. It's one of my favourites. It's got really quite nice taper. It's dead straight. It's got opposing branches, so it's got a lot of things about it that you shouldn't really like on a tree, but I like it. I don't know. It's got some kind of character to it. That's how I'd describe it. And, you know, at the end of the day, bonsai's a hobby, so we decide what we want to do. We don't have to be limited. And like I say, for some reason, it's just my favourite one, apart from my big one. I've not shown you my big one in this video today. That sounds bad. Well, I should cut that out, but I'm not, because I'm in that kind of mood. That'll make it into my highlight reel video though. Where was I? What was I talking about before I got distracted? Oh yeah, my big one. I've got a couple of quite well-established birches, but I can't move them on my own. I need someone else to help me move them because they're too heavy. So these are just sort of the smaller ones that I can manhandle myself. I think that's going nicely, that. And I still like it. I've done the same sort of random pruning on it, just taking all these leaders down. and that's 10 beech trees pruned. They're not even beech trees, they're birch trees. I normally pride myself on my quite slick content. Today's not been slick. It's just been me grinding through 10 trees. If you've made it through to the end, congratulations, and thank you. I hope to see you soon on a future video. Keep bonsaiing, and I'll see you soon.